So I want you to have your left knee forward in this half kneeling position. If half kneeling doesn't work for you, then you can come to stand. If you have a tennis ball or a cross ball, myofascial release, I mean they don't do that, but that's what they call them. Any of those sort of things to hold on to help you find more tension, you can grab that. And from here, you're going to bring your left arm inside your left leg. Right hand punches down towards the floor. You can make a fist and start to find some tension. Squeeze your glutes, send some tension down the legs and down the arms. So you can again squeeze that cross ball, tennis ball, whatever you've got. From here, you're going to start to bring your arm across your body with the palm facing up. So we're finding external rotation and adduction. And then start to bring your arm overhead. So what I really want you to notice here, you have some brace in your core as though someone was going to try and punch you. If your ribs start to flare or your back starts to arch, that is no longer your shoulder doing shoulder stuff, that's your spine helping. So I want you to stop at that point as far as you can go, and then start to turn your palm and your bicep away from you. So it's like your thumb comes forward, and then you're starting to take the thumb behind you, so you're twisting as much as you can into that rotation, reaching as far back as you can, trying not to let the torso go with you, until you come around, knuckles will skate past the leg, and then start to reverse out. So reach as far back as you can without anything else moving, so we're not compensating here, kind of letting the spine do the shoulder's job. Reach through the hand, start to unwind. So thumb drops towards the floor, and then rolls around towards the ceiling, coming up and over. Bring it all the way up, across the body again, palm faces up, and bring it down. Nice. So again, like that. Bring it across the body, keep finding that tension through your body. So punching the right hand towards the floor as you bring the left arm up. Find that rotation. So you're really spiraling here, trying to turn the bicep away from you, coming all the way around. Nice. Knuckles will scrape past the leg, and then again reverse. So you're going to reach, and you can see a tattoo here that will help you to see you're spiraling out of that to come back up and over. Try not to let the torso move. Bring it over, around, and down. Nice. One more rotation on this side. So again, palm faces up, bring it across the body. Thumb goes back behind you, and then comes forward. So think like you're trying to twist whole arm into as much internal rotation as you can. Reach as far back as you can. Bring it down. And then reversing out, reach back, up, and around. Bring it back across the body, palm faces up. Nice. So, other side, right foot comes forward, right arm inside the right leg. So this should feel much deeper in the joint than if you were just like warming up your shoulder. We're trying to take the shoulder through full rotation, both this way and this way. So from here, right arm comes across the body. Again, pause here, just notice what happens with the ribs. Notice if you have to pop them out or arch the back to get your arm overhead. See if you can bring them in. So if that means you truly only own this range for your shoulders, that's where you stay. Bring it behind you, start to rotate, bring it all the way around, knuckles come past the leg, and then start to reverse out. Same thing, winding out of it as you come up and over. Palm faces up and across the body. 2 more times just like that. So keep that tension, brace through the core as you bring it up and over. Spiral into internal rotation, reach behind you in extension, bring it down. Try and keep the elbow straight here as you reach out, so the elbow isn't, again, helping you do the job that your shoulder should be doing. And last time, up and over. Spiral it around, reach behind you as far as you can, try not to take the torso with you. And then gently coming up, around, and down. Nice. So from here we're also going to do some scapular casts, and then we're going to get into our drills. So you can think of this as like, again, warm up on crack. From here, bring both hands down to your thighs. And I want you to imagine there's a seam running down your pants if you don't have one. If you have your camera off and you're not wearing pants, like some people promised me would be their situation, then also just imagine. From here, I'll run you through it first. You're going to elevate, so lift the shoulder blades up, retract back, so squeeze them together, send it down, and then come forward. And you're going to repeat in that direction and then go in the other direction. But the way that I just explained it to you sounds really robotic or kind of square. What I want you to think is you're trying to still make a circle, so it's articulate rotations. So from here, take an inhale, find that brace through your core, try and keep the ribs in the whole time. Shoulders come up. You're doing a very dramatic shrug. Squeeze your shoulder blades back together, but try not to let the ribs pop. Slide the hands down your legs, and then shoulders come forward. Feel the shoulder blades spread. Same in that direction, but again, try and make it more circular as you take the shoulder blades back. Keep them pinned back as you send them down. Bring it forward and up, and then reverse directions. So come forward. Drop them down, squeeze them back, elevate up. One last time, forward and down, but again, trying to make it more circular than my very robotic cueing sounds. Squeeze it back, up, nice, and shake out. So from here we're going to get into shoulder internal rotation. I'm going to give you a couple of options to do it. The first one is coming into the sleeper stretch. There are a lot of my clients on here, you know where you're going, off you go. You will probably want a block or a cushion or something that you can use as a pillow. And you're going to come to lie down on your left side. And your left arm is going to be on the floor. And I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but where I currently am, I'm kind of lying on the back of my shoulder here. What I want is more to be on the edge of my shoulder. So as you reach forward, then you can suction your shoulder back and roll the top shoulder forward so you're stacked on top of that shoulder. Also notice if this top shoulder wants to kind of slide down, so see if you can stack them as well, and then you can rest your head. From here, I want you to bend your arm so you're at 90 degrees, and then slide your elbow down just a little. Come back, earpod. From here, you're going to start to drop your hand into internal rotation. So this motion here of taking your hand towards the mat, but I'm going to exaggerate this so you guys can see. This, when my shoulder comes off the mat, is an internal rotation. That is my scapula helping my shoulder move. So what I want is the back of your shoulder, or the kind of edge of your shoulder, is glued to the mat. It doesn't move anywhere. And as you start to come into the stretch, you should start to feel it through the back of your shoulder. It will require a little bit of adjustment, and just know that if this is your first time doing Kinstretch or this stretch, it can take some time, like a few sessions, for you to really be able to feel it. Like you might think you feel it today, and then you do this a few more times, and you're like, oh, now I really feel it. So just know that you will get better at this over time, like any skill you're requiring. Mobility training is a practice, so it takes you a while to get better. If you can't feel anything, like I said, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, and maybe I can troubleshoot it for you. If it is excruciating for you here, you also have the option of coming against the wall. So you can rest your knee against the wall, and drop your arm down into internal rotation. So if you don't have a lot, you'll be able to rest down and do this. And same thing here, I want you to keep the back of your shoulder stuck to the wall and come so it's the edge of your shoulder. So here, not the back of, like you're not lying on the back of your shoulder. So just when you think, I couldn't talk anymore, I'm going to talk a little bit more because I need you to stay in the stretch for a little bit longer. So I want you to find the stretch and stay in it. The reason that we stay in stretches for so long in Kinstretch is a lot of the research shows that that's how much time a stretch needs for your cells to start communicating, for basically your muscles to start to elongate, give you more sarcomeres, versus just kind of tugging on your tendons. So get as comfortable as you can. And I always say to people, as comfortable as you can in the stretch versus get comfortable in the stretch, because quite often you will still have a certain level of discomfort as you're working through this. Discomfort is fine, pain is not. If you can't breathe anymore, if it's sharp, anything like that, hot, traveling pain, I don't want you to work through that. I just want you to find that edge where it might be uncomfortable, but you can still breathe through it. So give me a few more rounds of breath here. If it helps you to close your eyes, if that helps you kind of relax into it a little bit more, go for it. Just a few more rounds of breath. And I'm going to explain, while you stay in the stretch, what we're going to do next. What we're doing next is pails and rails on progressive angle isometric loading and regressive angle isometric loading. What that means for you is that when I tell you to, you're going to start to push your bottom hand into your top hand with 20% effort. And then we're going to go to 40% and then 60%. For the first round, we're just going to hold 60%. We'll hold it for a period of time, and then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, rails. The rails is that you'll be trying to drive your hand closer to the floor, but you're not using your top hand to do it. You're trying to get light from that top hand. Think, drive your forearm towards the floor, but also the back of your shoulder is still glued. So we're not, again, doing this, and we're not pushing the hand down. So take an inhale, and then find that 20% effort pushing your bottom hand up into your top hand. And then slowly ramp up to 40% effort. So think like you're turning up a dial on a radio. And then 60% effort. And hold that 60. Maybe you send a little more tension down your legs, squeeze the glutes a little bit. If it helps you to think of 6 out of 10 versus 60%, go for that. And keep holding that for 3, 2, 1, and then rails. Try and drive your hand closer to the floor. Think forearm to the mat. Try and keep the wrist nice and straight. You can find more tension to do this. Keep the back of the shoulder stuck to the mat for 3, 2, 1. Top hand comes back onto that bottom hand. And give me a couple of slow breaths here. So in and out through the nose. If you've lost the stretch, re-find it. And really try and, again, get as comfortable in that stretch as you can. Give me one more slow breath here. We're going to repeat that process, but this time, if it feels okay to you, I want you to go to 80% effort. And if you're one of my clients and you've been training this for a while, you can go safest, greatest effort. So, take an inhale, send some tension down your arms and your legs, maybe squeeze the knees together, and then 20% effort trying to push your bottom hand into your top hand. And then 40%. And then 60. And then 80% effort. Again, if you think it feels safe to go more, find your safest, greatest effort. Pushing that bottom hand into the top hand. Finding more tension through the body for 3, 2, 1, and then rail. So try and drive your hand towards the mat. Think forearm down, try and keep the wrist nice and straight. You can even find more tension through the rest of the body to help you here. Back of the shoulder stays glued for 3, 2, 1. Top hand comes back down. So from here, we're going to find 3 passive range holds. So don't worry, we won't be here for much longer. I want you to send full tension through your legs, through your arms, brace your core, again like someone might punch you, squeeze your glutes really hard, and then hold your arm in place as you bring your top hand away. So really fight to hold it there. You can find that full body tension, and then bring that top hand back down. Nice. Relax into it, take a full round of breath. And then take another inhale, full brace through the body, hold your arm in place. You can take that top hand away. And then bring it back. And then one last time. Take an inhale, full body brace, hold. Maybe even fight to get closer to the floor for 3, 2, 1, and then you can slowly start to come out of that. So if that's your first time, you might be like, broken wing. That happens. Just give it a little time for the blood to come back into it. And then exciting news, we're going to move on to the other side. So come to set up on the other side. This time right arm will be straight out in front. Good. And same thing, think, slide your shoulder blade back or slide your shoulder back so you're on the outside edge of your shoulder versus lying on the back of your shoulder. And then from here, bend, and then drop the elbow down slightly. From here, top hand comes onto bottom hand, and pull yourself into it. So you will notice on one side I have a lot more internal rotation. The other side is better than this side. So that might be you, it's totally fine. It's the reason we train, to even all that stuff up. So find the stretch with me and then stay there. Get as comfortable as you can. So if you came to a shoulder mobility class thinking that you were going to learn more of this stuff and more of this stuff, but not this, I'm going to explain to you why we do internal and we're going to do external rotation next. The more capacity your joint has to rotate, then the more space it actually has to do these other motions. And if you're anything like me, I spent years doing yoga, working out why down dog hurt, or pressing overhead and couldn't work out why it hurt, and also just not really improving in this direction. I actually put a photo on my Instagram today, some of you might have seen. I started about here with my shoulders. In fact, the photo I posted, I was more like here. So I was bending for a few years, and now, you know, my shoulders go behind my head really comfortably, and I can get myself there actively. And that ability actually improved more from training internal and external rotation than training shoulder flexion itself. Plus, if you're one of my climbers, then that ability to kind of put your shoulder wherever is super helpful on the wall. You will know this, so no, I probably don't have to sell it to you. Also, rotational ability is the first thing that we lose in terms of our joints, which is why it's so important to train. So, from here, we're going to repeat those pedals and rails. Same thing here, keep the back of the shoulder glued down, and then start to send some tension down the arms and the legs, and then 20% effort trying to push your bottom hand into the top hand. And then 40%. Again, think like you're turning up a dial. And then 60%. And then hold that 60%. Yes. Keep holding it. Don't forget to breathe. Keep pushing that bottom hand into the top hand for 3, 2, 1, and then rails. So think drive forearm towards the mat. Keep the back of your shoulder glued so you're not letting it lift. Keep fighting for the floor. Find more tension through the rest of your body to help you. And you're not pushing down with the top hand. For 3, 2, 1. And then top hand comes back down. Find the stretch again. You might notice that you've dropped a little deeper into it. That is great. If you haven't, also totally fine. Give me a couple of slow breaths here. Maybe one more for luck. Really let those contractions release from the body. So you're only passively taking yourself into the stretch. You're not trying to brace anymore. And now from here, on your next inhale, start to send some tension down your arms and your legs. And then 20% effort to push that bottom hand into the top hand. And 40%. 60. On this round, if it feels good to go to 80%, go there. If you have a little more safest, greatest effort, driving bottom hand into the top hand for 3, 2, 1, and then rails. Imagine the whole back of your upper arm is glued to the floor. You're just trying to drive your forearm towards the mat. You can go max effort here, so more tension throughout the body for 3, 2, 1, and then top hand comes back down. Give me a couple of slow rounds of breath in the stretch. And then we're going to find those 3 passive range holds again. So just take a normal inhale, exhale. And then on your next inhale, send tension down your legs, squeeze the glutes, brace the core. Find that full body tension, hold that bottom arm where it is, take the top hand away. And then slowly drop the top hand back down. Take a round of breath. And then on your next inhale, full body brace, hold that bottom hand where it is, take the top hand away. And bring it back. And then the last one, on your next inhale, full body brace, hold that bottom please let me know before we get into external rotation. External rotation is so much nicer than what we just did, so don't panic if you think the whole class is going to feel like internal rotation. It definitely won't. So if you have yoga blocks, it will be helpful. It is not mandatory. We can still do this. If you can't lie on your belly, please let me know. Hi there. Please let me know if you can't, and I will give you a different option for this. Otherwise, you're going to first come to lie down with what we call in yoga goalpost arms, or 90 degrees, whatever you've heard them called, it's this guy. And I want you to come to lie down like that. If you have yoga blocks, or books, or cushions, you can prop yourself up so your arms are resting on the blocks. And ideally, I want your elbows either in line with your shoulders or slightly below. Forehead is on the mat. So from here, because it can be hard to find a stretch for external rotation, all we're going to do today is pails and lift-offs. All, yeah. If you know that you need to work on shoulder external rotation, and you're not already one of my clients, because I've probably given it to you already, a way to do this, please feel free to email me after this or stay after class, and I will help talk you through it. If you have extra yoga blocks, you can also prop up your hands in front, especially if, when you're here, if you can lift off without anything else in your shoulder moving, then you can start at a higher height. So the goal of this is external rotation of your shoulder, this motion. But again, we're not trying to do this, so we're not getting our spine to help. And I also really want it to be shoulder versus just slamming your scapula down your back, which usually results in the ribs popping anyway. So it's that true external rotation motion. So I want you to really concentrate when we're doing this drill about kind of stabilizing everything in your back, finding that full body tension so your shoulder isn't kind of sliding up and down or the scaps aren't popping off your back as you lift off. So what we're going to do for this is pails will be pushing down through your hand. So think elbow stays down, or elbow kind of is in place, and you're trying to push your front hand down as though you could come out of it back to neutral. And then we're going to go, after we've done 20, 40, 60, we're going to go to maximum safest effort straight away on this one. In external rotation, it's a lot easier for most people. Then we're going to go into lift off. So instead of the rails that we had last time, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, lift off. And all you're going to do is keep your elbow down, keep the shoulder nice and solid, and lift that hand as high as you can. And then slowly drop it back down. This is not shoulder external rotation, it's bending your wrist. So try and guard against that. Try and keep the wrist nice and flat. You can do this with fingers extended, or you can make a fist. A lot of people, when they're first starting to do it, find that making a fist means they can keep their wrist flatter and access that stuff in the back of the shoulder. If, as we're doing this, you can't connect with anything in the back of the shoulder, all that tells you is that that is something that you need to work on, because everybody needs external rotation. Okay, take an inhale. And from here, with 20% effort, start pushing your hands down, either through the front blocks if you have them, or if you're here, just pushing the hands down. And all the force is going through the hands, not through the elbows. Find 40% effort. And then 60%, and then 80%, and then your safest, greatest effort. So try and drive the hands fully down into the mat or towards the mat for 3, 2, 1, and then lift off. So elbows stay where they are. Try and lift the hands off. Shoulders stay nice and solid. Try not to lift the chest, so we're not doing this. We're not extending through the spine. Keep your forehead glued to the mat. Slowly lower down. Take another inhale. Find full body tension. Lift off. So hands towards the ceiling, elbows stay where they are. Feel the back of the shoulder working. Slowly lower down. Last time, take an inhale, full brace, lift off. Slowly lower down. Nice. From here, if you have those yoga blocks and you only have one set, what I want you to do is slide them forward and drop your elbows to the mat. If you feel a really strong stretch in the back of the shoulder, or you start to cramp out, then I want you to come back to where you were before. Second round of paddles and lift-offs. Take an inhale for me. If you don't have your forehead on the mat, I want the forehead to be down, because if you're looking in one direction, then it's going to do some funky things to your neck, and you're also not getting even kind of stimulus on both shoulders. Take that inhale, send tension down the arms and legs. And then 20% effort, trying to push the hands down into the block or the floor, whatever you're leaning on. And then 40% effort. And then 60. Once you start to get to 60, I want you to start to send more tension down the arms and the legs. And then find 80% effort. So 80%, if I was there in the room with you, I would not be able to lift your hands up because you are pushing down so hard. If you have a little more, give me safest, greatest effort here. Drive the hands down for 3, 2, 1, and then lift off. So think get higher. Use the back of the shoulder. Try not to let your shoulders shrug up towards your ears. Everything stays solid. Try not to let the hands get closer to your head either, or further away. For 3, 2, 1, gently lower down. And then take an inhale, full body brace. Lift off. So get the hands as high as you can. Try and connect to that back of the shoulder stuff. You can grit your teeth and make a face if you need to. For 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Give me a full round of breath here. And then last time, take an inhale. Squeeze your butt. Send tension down your legs. Find that brace in your core. Send tension down the arms. Squeeze your fists. Lift off. Fight to take the hands to the ceiling. Try and keep the wrists nice and straight. For 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Nice. From here, can gently come out of position. From here, we are going to get into some shoulder flexion. You will need a chair. Here's one I prepared earlier. So, we are going to do shoulder flexion one arm at a time, because I have noticed with most of my clients, they will have slightly more on one side, and also it's just really helpful to train things unilaterally instead of bilaterally. Starting with your right hand. If you need to go get your chair, please do. If you have a couch or something similar, just basically something that you can elevate your hand onto. And then from here, you're going to drop into the deepest stretch that you can find. Please know that your shoulder does not have to look like mine. Like I said when I started, I was here, got a little bit further now. So, finding a fist, you can either have palm face down, like you know, pull up kind of way, or neutral grip. Find whatever position feels best for you here, and find the stretch. So you might be more up here, if you have less shoulder range, or kind of in here, or you can drop down. I want you to, wherever you are, see if you can keep your ribs in. So again, you're not letting them pop or arching the back to fake shoulder flexion. Totally, if you've got something above you that you can like hold onto or reach for, yeah, like a door frame, as long as you can keep your ribs in, G, it's totally fine. When it's class and not in the gym, we, especially during lockdown, work with what we've got. So find this position for me, find the deepest stretch that you can. If, like me, you have a lot of range, this is basically, my shoulders are the only thing I can ever say I have a lot of range for, everything else is fairly average. Better than it used to be. I don't feel a stretch here anymore because I have enough range. If that's you, you're just going to have to chill, breathe, and wait for pails and rails to come around. And that's all good. It just means that in your normal home practice, you don't need to be getting more range, you just want to work on more control. For most people, they do still need more range. So get as comfortable as you can. Give me a few more rounds of breath. And again, the pails and rails are a really similar principle to what we were doing before. The pails will be pushing down, so everything that you currently feel stretching, like through the armpit, through the side of the back, I want you to start to contract that, not yet, but when I cue you to, start to contract that stuff and try and push your hand down through the chair with 20% effort. And then we're going to go 40, 60, 80, safest greatest. The rails effort will be trying to lift your hand off, but you should be at the end of your range, so you're not able to. If I come out of my end range, I can easily lift off the chair. But if I'm in my end range, I can no longer get my hand off the chair, but I can feel the muscles in the back of my shoulder trying to work to do it. That is what we want. So take an inhale for me. And then 20% effort, try and push your hand down into the chair. Slowly ramp it up to 40%. And then 60. 80%, so again the rest of your body should be pretty tense by now. Maybe you have a fist or you're squeezing tennis ball in the opposite hand. Squeeze the glutes. Brace everything. If you have more, safest, greatest effort. Keep trying to drive the hand down for 3, 2, 1, and then find that rails contraction. So start to fire up the stuff in the back of the shoulder. Again, full body tension. I want 100% radiation. Well, maybe 90. But as much as you can muster, and you're trying to get that stuff in the back of the shoulder to work, trying to lift your hand off the chair for 3, 2, 1, and then drop into the stretch again. So try and stay in the stretch if you can. The best results come from that, but some days you just have to come out of it. If you're having one of those days, go for it. And we're going to do that one more time. So take an inhale, And then 20% effort, trying to push your hand down through the chair. And then 40%. And then 60%, again, everything sort of in the armpit, you're trying to squeeze it to push down. Slowly ramping up through that 60, through 80%. And then safest, greatest effort. So trying to drive the hand down as much as you can. For 3, 2, 1, and then rails. Try and lift the hand, or you can also think of it as getting light. So if there's a scale under your hand and it currently weighs whatever your arm weighs, you're trying to get it to weigh almost nothing. So think get light for 3, 2, 1, and gently relax into the stretch again. Give me a couple of rounds of breath in the stretch first. And then you can slowly come up out of it. Nice. Shake out if you need to. Again, take some water if you need it. And then other side. So left hand up. Whichever way you trained your right hand, so whether it was neutral grip or pronated, so whether it was knuckles kind of facing towards each other or palms down, I want you to do the same for the other one. So find that stretch for me. Get as comfortable as you can. See if you can really drop into it. Also notice if you really flare the armpit out to the side or you want to bend your elbow. See if you can roll your armpit down towards the mat, but also if your elbow is bending, again, that is a compensation. So I want you to come out of that range, not be as deep into it, and only go as deep as you can with the elbow straight. The other thing is, if you're kind of sticking the chin out and jutting your head forward, see if you can tuck the chin, make the back of the neck nice and long. So give me a few more rounds of breath here. Again, getting as comfortable as you can. I know you've been in this position for a while. Breathe into the stretch as much as you can. And you can almost think about it like trying to breathe into the area that's stretching. Just a few more seconds here, a few more rounds of breath. Notice if your left shoulder is reaching way forward of the right as well. Try and keep the shoulders nice and even. And then take an inhale, send some tension through your body. 20% effort, trying to push your hand down through the chair. And then 40%. And then 60%. Again, think slowly ramping up. So you're ticking up the numbers, you're not jumping from 40 to 60. Slowly going from 60 to 80. And then if you have more, your safest, greatest effort here, driving the hand down, keeping the elbow nice and straight. For 3, 2, 1, and then rails. Try and get light, so you could lift the hand off the chair, feel the back of the shoulder working, keep the elbow nice and straight, don't let the chest lift higher. So everything stays the same, you're just trying to lift that arm for 3, 2, 1, and slowly drop into the stretch again as you relax. Give me a couple of rounds of breath. really let your face soften, shoulders soften. We have just one more round here. So take an inhale, send some tension through the arms and the legs, and then 20% effort, trying to drive your hand into the chair. And then 40%, 60, 80, and then if you have a little more, your safest, greatest effort, driving the hand down. So if I came round and tried to pick your hand off the chair, I wouldn't be able to. For 3, 2, 1, and then rails. Try and lift off, or again, if it helps you to think of that scale into your hand, you're trying to get light. Keep trying to lift, work the back of the shoulder for 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax into the stretch, so don't come out of position yet. Find the stretch again. Maybe you can drop a little deeper. And then gently come up a bit. Very good. Shake it out. So we're almost done. We have one more thing to do, but don't panic because you've already done it. It is cars. And we started with a half kneel. We're just going to do it full kneeling, or you can do it standing if you're sick of kneeling. Very much understand. From here, left arm's going to go first. Again, if you want to grab a cross ball or tennis ball, whatever you've got to find more tension. Punch your right hand towards the floor. Squeeze your glutes, brace the core. Keep that as you start to bring the arm across your body with the palm of the forearm facing up. Taking it overhead. Maybe you can get a little further now. Start to spiral into that internal rotation as you bring it around behind you. In, so your knuckles will face your leg, and then reverse out, unwind, bring it up and over, palm faces up, and again, bring it across the body. See if you can find more external rotation, so you're turning that arm out more as you bring it up and over. Start to take it behind you. Reach as far back as you can, and then reverse out, reach back, unwind, bring it up and over, and down. Nice. And then switch sides. Again, as you come across, think externally rotate as much as you can. Thumb goes behind you. And then spiral into it. So keep twisting into more rotation as you bring it around behind you. Knuckles face you. And then reverse out. Keep that elbow nice and straight. Unwind. Bring it up and over. Palm faces up, find more external rotation. And down. And last one, across the body, keep those ribs in. As you take it into flexion, spiral it into internal rotation, at the same time reaching back, so making the biggest circle that you can while still controlling it. Reverse out, unwind,